Hey folks, Unboxer of Worlds here with a quick follow-up on my review video of this monitor here, the Alienware AW2725Q. I appreciate the comments I got on that video, and a few people asked questions about the HDR performance, namely about whether or not the HDR might be somewhat broken or glitched out with, I guess, the black levels being off in different circumstances. This is not going to be a super technical follow-up. It's mostly just what I see with my eyes and my my subpar phone camera. But what you're looking at right now is all HDR turned off. It's turned off on the monitor. It's turned off in Windows. I also turned off the Windows Auto HDR setting. So there should be no HDR here so we can get a baseline. And as you can see, the black levels look pretty nicely defined. You can see the black along the top, the more gray colors along the bottom, and it looks very good. I'm going to now turn on some HDR, and we're going to see how that looks. So stand by, here we go. All right, folks, same video. I now have the monitor set to Game HDR, that preset. I have HDR turned on in Windows. I also, again, the Auto HDR is off. Does it look any different to you? I'm still seeing very deep black levels. I'm not seeing any problem there. Touching my phone screen trying to get the image to, you know, kind of highlight what I want it to highlight, but it's not really working for me. Again, HDR is on right now, both in the monitor and in Windows. How does it look? I'm going to have HDR on the top, SDR on the bottom. Can you tell a difference? All right, we're going to repeat the test with a video game. All right, folks, Resident Evil 3 Remake HDR is on in Windows, in the game, and on the monitor. How does it look? How do those black levels look? I'll tell you, it looks pretty good to me. There's great contrast everywhere. You know, the brights are bright, the blacks are black. You know, I'm not seeing anything really blown out when I look at it in person. All right, now I'm going to fire up the no HDR version of the same scene, and we can compare. All right, and here we are with the HDR turned off. It's turned off in Windows, it's turned off in the game, and it's turned off on the monitor. How does it look? How do those dark levels look to you? They look pretty good to me, honestly. You know, I'm actually pretty impressed with the SDR performance on this monitor too, now that I'm really focusing on it. But do you see a big difference there? Again, this is with HDR off, and now I'm going to do HDR on top, HDR off on the bottom. They may not line up exactly, but what do you think? Does the HDR look good to you? And just to wrap up, I figured we'd look at something bright and sunny. So here is Horizon Zero Dawn, not the remaster. This is the original version. And again, this is HDR turned off everywhere. How does it look to you? Not much in the way of black levels, but how does the overall picture look? I think it's very pleasing to me. Let's see how it looks when I turn all those HDR settings back on. And here we are one last time with HDR turned on everywhere. Monitor, Windows, and in the game. How does it look to you? How does it compare? Are you pleased with this HDR image? I think it looks great, but I'll be honest with you. Since my last video was filmed, I've had the opportunity to see some 1440p OLED monitors with an actual glossy coating. This one here, I mistakenly said it was a glossy coating in my review. It's actually semi-gloss. But I'll tell you, some of the 1440p ones with that true glossy coating were very impressive. So if you were torn between 1440 or 4K, both fantastic options. Anyway, so HDR, what do you think? HDR on top, no HDR on bottom. How do they compare? Are you happy? Have I answered any of your questions, or have I just added more confusion to an already confusing world? Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for asking these questions and keeping me on my toes. Hey, I hear YouTube has a new hype feature where you could hype up videos to get them more exposure. So I'd appreciate it if you'd hype up my videos so I can see how that works. I'd appreciate it even more if you'd hit that subscribe button. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving, folks. Happy holidays soon enough. I'm sure there's more videos to come. What's next? I have no idea. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.